Welcome, students. Think of today's explainer as a masterclass on the hidden architecture of our food. Together, we're going to explore how microscopic fat molecules, literally invisible to the naked eye, dictate not just the physical properties of what we eat, but profoundly impact our cardiovascular health. It's this absolutely incredible intersection of chemistry, nutrition, and human biology. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our syllabus for today's lecture. 1. Fatty acid building blocks. 2. Saturated versus unsaturated fats. 3. The essential omega fats. And 4. The danger of trans fats. All right, starting right off with section 1, fatty acid building blocks. To really understand fats, we have to look at triglycerides. That's the main form of fat in both our food and our bodies. Basically, it's a glycerol backbone holding onto 3 fatty acid chains. Now, these carbon chains can vary in length, usually anywhere from 4 to 24 carbons long. But the absolute most crucial factor in determining how a fat behaves, it's the degree of saturation. Notice the definition here. Saturation refers to whether the carbon atoms in a chain are completely filled, or literally saturated to maximum capacity, with hydrogen atoms. If every single carbon has 2 hydrogens attached via single bonds, boom, it's fully saturated. Let's move to section 2 and see how this builds into saturated versus unsaturated fats. Let's use a real-world analogy here. Think of saturated fats like a brand new box of toothpicks. Because there are no double bonds, those carbon chains are perfectly straight. They pack together incredibly tightly, just like toothpicks in a little cardboard box. And because they pack so densely, they are solid at room temperature. Now, unsaturated fats, they're missing some hydrogen atoms, and that creates a carbon-to-carbon double bond. That double bond forces a physical bend, or a kink, right in the chain. Because of these bends, they just can't pack tightly together. Imagine trying to cram a handful of bent twigs into that same toothpick box. They won't lay flat, right? That is exactly why unsaturated fats are liquid at room temperature. Now, I want to clarify a really common misconception. When we talk about a saturated fat or an unsaturated fat in a culinary sense, we're really just using shorthand. Every dietary fat is actually a mixture. For instance, coconut oil is heavily saturated, for sure, but it still has some unsaturated fatty acids mixed in. Peanut oil? Largely unsaturated, but it absolutely contains some saturated fat too. We just categorize foods by whichever fat type is the most dominant. So looking at foods that are predominantly saturated, we're mostly talking about animal fats. Think of the visible fat on a steak, bacon, butter, and heavy dairy products. We also see this in tropical oils like coconut and palm oil. From a clinical perspective, consuming a diet highly concentrated in these saturated fats is associated with increased levels of LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, and subsequently a much higher risk of heart disease. Conversely, predominantly unsaturated fats are found mostly in plants and seafood. Think nuts like almonds and pecans, seeds, avocados, plant oils like olive and canola oil, and of course, fish. Health-wise, a diet rich in these mono- and polyunsaturated fats is incredibly protective. It's associated with lower LDL cholesterol levels and a notably reduced risk of cardiovascular disease. Moving deeper into the chemistry, let's hit section 3, the essential omega fats. Within polyunsaturated fats, there is a special class based on exactly where their very first double bond is located relative to the omega or methyl end of the carbon chain. You see, our bodies are amazing chemical factories, capable of synthesizing almost all the fatty acids we need, except for 2. These are the essential fatty acids, linoleic acid, which is an omega-6, and alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, which is an omega-3. So the crucial point is, when nutrition science calls something essential, it means your body literally cannot make it. You absolutely must get it through your diet. Let's compare these two. Omega-6 has its first double bond at the 6th carbon, while omega-3 has it at the 3rd. But why does this microscopic placement matter to your health? Well, these fats are the precursors to signaling molecules called eicosanoids. Eicosanoids derived from omega-6s tend to increase blood pressure, clotting, and inflammation. Now, inflammation is necessary for healing, but it's dangerous when it's chronically elevated. On the flip side, eicosanoids from omega-3s do the exact opposite. They actively lower inflammation and clotting. And the crazy part is, they actually compete for the exact same enzymatic pathways in your body. This is exactly why balancing your diet with more anti-inflammatory omega-3s, found in flaxseed, walnuts, and dark greens, is such a massive focus in nutrition. You've probably also heard of EPA and DHA. These are incredibly powerful omega-3s known to lower triglycerides, reduce inflammation, and promote healthy brain development. Technically, they aren't essential because our bodies can synthesize them from the ALA we just talked about. But here's the catch. Our conversion rate is extremely limited. That makes getting direct dietary sources of EPA and DHA, like fish, shellfish, and marine algae, absolutely vital for optimal heart and brain health. All right, let's shift our tone and focus a bit for Section 4, the danger of trans fats and the impact of industrial food chemistry. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the physical geometry of these molecules. In nature, the double bonds in unsaturated fats almost always occur in a cis configuration. That just means the missing hydrogen atoms are on the same side of the carbon chain. They naturally repel each other, creating that bend we talked about earlier. But in a trans configuration, the hydrogens are bonded on opposite sides. This chemically forces a naturally bent chain to become perfectly, artificially straight.
So how does this actually happen? Well, through an industrial process called partial hydrogenation. Food manufacturers would take super inexpensive liquid plant oils, like corn oil, and literally blast them with hydrogen gas to forcefully add hydrogen back into those double bonds. Why? The goal was to take a cheap liquid oil and make it semi-solid. It made for perfect spreadable margarine and gave processed baked goods a practically endless shelf life without going rancid. But in doing so, they created an artificially straight, unsaturated fat that behaves exactly like a saturated one.
Initially, scientists actually thought this was a healthy alternative to animal fats. They were, unfortunately, devastatingly wrong. Trans fats pack a uniquely terrible physiological punch. Just like saturated fats, they increase your LDL, or bad cholesterol. But trans fats deliver a double blow because they simultaneously decrease your HDL, your good cholesterol, all while ramping up inflammation throughout your entire body. The clinical impact of this industrial invention was just staggering. When researchers looked at the data, they calculated that by simply eliminating industrial trans fats from the food supply, we could avert an estimated 228,000 heart attacks in the United States alone. 228,000. Just let that number sink in for a second. And this brilliantly illustrates the power of scientific discovery to shape public health. In the 1990s, evidence of the harm really began to mount clearly. By 2006, the FDA mandated that trans fats had to be listed on nutrition labels, which instantly pushed companies to start reformulating. Then, in 2015, the FDA officially ruled that manufactured trans fats were no longer recognized as safe. And finally, by 2021, they were effectively eliminated from the U.S. food supply altogether. We've covered the microscopic architecture of fats today, from bent carbon chains to icosanoid signaling, and we've seen how it dictates everything from the solidity of butter to the health of your very own heart. I want to leave you with this final thought to apply to your everyday life. Looking at the balance of saturated and unsaturated fats on your plate for your next meal, what kind of architecture is your body building today? Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next